how do we use meditation as a way of helping us to work with the really difficult people in our lives? First, we begin with a recognition, which is that when we're on the path of awakening, we're going to continue to meet two kinds of beings, two kinds of people. One we can call allies, the others we can call adversaries. And these are features, they're not bugs. They're features of the awakening path. We know, obviously, it's easy to love the allies because they appreciate us, what we're up to. They see our beauty. And it's harder to love and befriend the adversaries. But it's important, in fact, to work constructively, generatively with both of these encounters. Because everybody we meet, every person, every event, and everything that we encounter is a spiritual mirror. It's a magic mirror. Remember in the fairy tales, they look into the mirror in many different ways. You probably know it from Snow White. And it's, oh, mirror, mirror on the wall. Everyone we meet is that magic mirror. Life itself is structured as in a mirroring function in order to help us turn consciousness back upon itself to rebalance those patterns of awareness, those patterns of being that are out of alignment and are unredeemed. So allies are these magic mirrors that reflect those, we could call them soul qualities, and those perspectives and ways of being that we have already learned to appreciate and to embrace. And so when we interact with allies, that awakens within us a connection to those qualities. And it's an invitation, in fact, to celebrate, to breathe, and to strengthen our awareness of those nourishing qualities that we've already recognized as blessings. Adversaries are magic mirrors, and they reflect to us qualities of being, qualities of soul, and perspectives that we have yet to fully appreciate, embrace, and integrate. And so when we interact with these adversaries, it's like life's way of reminding us to expand the horizon of our awareness, open our perceptions, and begin to include what is most vulnerable and what is most unintegrated, unredeemed within us. And as we integrate these unredeemed dimensions of our own soul, these memory tracks that are locked into adversarial structures, as we liberate those, we're able to more powerfully and more playfully, more lovingly engage with adversaries and with everything else in our life. So these unintegrated perspectives and qualities, these energies are within us. We're not denying that there's people, events, and things out in the world. What the mystic is pointing to, what the meditative mind is inviting us to, is to recognize that the reactivity, the contraction, the tensions to those people, events, and things is arising from within and calling us to do the inner work. And that's a lovely thing, because we actually don't need to schedule a meeting with the adversary in order to do this work. We're already able to meet them where they reside, in our memory tracks, in the soul. So here's how to do this. The first thing is to create some space, some time and space that's devoted and dedicated to cultivating this new relationship with the adversary. So 10 minutes of sacred, uninterrupted time where you can settle your body then into a comfortable meditative pose, remembering Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, and the instruction for the meditative pose is that it has two qualities. Sthira, it's a quality of strength. So there's a backbone that we are supported by when we're in the meditative pose, and sukha, which is like the word sucrose or sugar, it's a sweetness. So there's a strength and there's a sweetness to the physiology, to the neurology as we begin the meditative practice. And we'll need both. So then what we do is we press the trigger within, which means we bring up the memory track of an adversary, focusing perhaps on their image, maybe remembering an event or a voice tone that they used. And we're doing this in an experimental, a controlled experiment. You're bringing up the memory track, you're dialing up the image, you're dialing up the tonality just enough in order to generate some sense of inner reactivity, not to throw you off completely, but just to generate the beginnings of that contractive response. And when that happens, the shift of the attention goes to the body. We're turning towards what Chogyam Trungpa called the tender spot. It's this, we're locating physically the place of vulnerability that calling that memory track up evokes within our own somatic awareness. We're tuning into the tension, to the defensiveness, to the quality of imbalance that is in the body. And gently, gently, very gently turning the light of loving awareness to that place in your body. And breathing in this way as you breathe in, making contact and feeling the sensations that are in that place, that tender place in the body. And as you breathe out, sending a wave of gentle acceptance and blessing into that pattern. It's an in-breath, making contact, and with an out-breath, it's like you're sending the winds of loving awareness, a breath of change, a breath of connection and blessing into that place within the body. Breath by breath, making contact and blessing. And as this occurs, it's possible for emotions, memories, other associated memory tracks to arise. And this brings us to the next instruction, which is to greet whatever arises as a friend, to invite it in other words. It's Rumi's guest house. Many, many travelers may arise, invite them in, because this is primarily not a practice of improving. It's not a practice of fixing. It's not even a practice of what we often think of as transforming, which is usually a subtle form of manipulation. It's more about connecting, deep acceptance, from which blessing naturally arises. And so this is that process, with each breath connecting and blessing, exploring what it's like to open the channel of blessing and to open the receptivity of blessing in that very spot where somatically that memory track has been encoded. And you can do this for as long as is comfortable, and when you're done, have a sense of completion, not like it's over and check the box. It's just done for now, because it's the party of connection. The party will continue the next time we sit down if you wish to. So you sit quietly after you're done, just for a moment or two, to breathe and to rebalance and reintegrate, and to allow what has been woken up and blessed to become an integral part of the mandala of your being. And then you move into your daily life. We move back into life with the awareness that we're going to meet allies and adversaries. And that we've done this inner work not so much to change them out there, but rather to meet those inner patterns with blessing and to invite them to integration. And as we move out into our life with sensitivity to those tender places in the body, we become more and more attuned to how those inner energies, those inner vulnerabilities are present in daily life, so that when we encounter challenges and we feel them beginning to activate, they're whispering to us from the soul, the whisper, please bring loving awareness here. Please bring it here into this pattern. And we can pause, we can take a breath, we can excuse ourselves from the meeting, we can take a gentle walk, and it can happen as quickly as with the breath. I was on a phone call today and doing some work, and I felt this tension rising, this anxiety, and I just turned, oh yes, there you are, and connecting with the breath, sending blessing with the breath, to include that quality and that energy and to allow it to guide me into a sense of deeper presence as I continued with the work conversation. Because through this process of practice, our relationship with adversaries will change. We will begin to see in them out there a new understanding, a new vision. We'll be able to see their struggle, and our common humanity. We're all walking each other home, as Ram Dass said, sometimes by arguing, sometimes by embracing, but always we can recognize they are sacred mirrors that are pointing us to those places in our own memory tracks where treasures are waiting, where hidden gifts are waiting to be unwrapped. They are not our tormentors, they are our mentors. They are, like everyone, reminders to turn towards the hidden blessings and to bring the grace of loving awareness into every memory track and into our everyday life more fully, more completely, with more balance and grace.